goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
Excellent. So,
good enough for rapping.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band.
Like Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all. God Almighty!
But this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like seriously, I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar.
Tonight, we have some swagger-injected blues rock with Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman.
Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese. I am joined by guest co-host.
Hello. My name's Ty Valone from the Groove Merchants. Very honored to fill in on short notice. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
Yes. It's like one of my favorite things. It's like
Set 'em
not
up.
prep the person. Not
Set them up, I'll knock them
just
down.
see what happens.
Nah, we're good.
It is. It's all good. Yes, Ty Valone, short notice, guest co-host. I do need some cred, some blues rock shredding guitar cred for tonight's guest.
I don't know if I'm the
Dustin
most
Douglas.
qualified, but I'm happy to.
You absolutely
watch.
do. But for those of you who haven't seen a Groove Merchants show, you should absolutely do it. You guys now are based in Philly, right? Founded up here in the Lehigh Valley.
Founded in Kutztown, technically, because we all went to school
Right
there. But then we started out playing mostly in the Lehigh Valley area, Bethlehem, Allentown,
right,
Easton, like that. And now we're based in Philly, and so we kind of split our time between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the band lives in Fishtown now.
Nice.
So we'll do some stuff in the Philly area, some stuff in the Bethlehem area.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
kind of become like a staple. I believe it's at least 2 years, maybe more, of like opening night of Musikfest on the Stadplatz stage with the 9-piece. It's kind of becoming like a thing that I super look forward to. It's actually become Groove Merchants opening night, Billy Bauer closing night is like...
Yeah, thank you, man. We appreciate it. Yeah, this was...
ends my Musikfest every year.
Yeah, this was the second year in a row I think we've done it on. We played that stage 3 times, the Stadplatz stage. This was the second year in a row that we've done it on opening night, which has ended up being awesome because it is, especially this year, because it was like the only night besides like the last day that they had nice weather. You know what I mean?
Right.
It really, I felt so bad. Like they really got killed this year. And for those of you listening who are not native to Bethlehem or have been to Musikfest before, it's the largest free music festival in North America, over 10 days in the Christmas city, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And usually it does rain about usually 2 out of those 10 days.
Yes.
So being from the Lehigh Valley, and growing up in Lehigh Valley all my life and going to Musikfest all my life, you kind of expect like, oh, there's going to be 1 or 2 days.
Yes.
But this year it just rained. And it felt like every day, like they had to pause the festival a few times.
Yeah, going down.
Stuff.
So I do all 10 days. It was definitely an impact. The one thing I will say is they really dodged a bullet. That hurricane that came through that they thought was going to like uber wipe
Just
out like
wreck the whole
more
thing,
than
yeah.
one full day, and wreck the whole thing. Sped through and came out by 11 a.m. It was gone, and behind it was beautiful weather. So really,
Yeah.
that whole weekend was great. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was all
Sunday,
great.
yeah, I was there Sunday just walking around, and yeah, we played opening day Friday. And like I said, we kind of lucked out that and even that day, I was checking the radar like all day, and I was like, I think it'll just miss us, and it ended up being nice. But yeah, we've loved doing that. I hope we get to do it again next year on
Yeah, I
opening
hope so
day.
too.
And we like taking the 9-piece band out for that.
Yeah, that's like for people like wondering what that is. That's the regular 4-piece band, right? 4
4 or 5, yeah. We have a quartet. Myself on vocals and guitar and percussion, and then Luke Faircone is on lead guitar. John Evan Groom is on bass. Peter Snyder was on drums, and then a lot of times we'll try to have John Bickle play organ, so it'll be like a 4.
Right, it's the Hammond organ. It's the
5 plays
great sounding organ.
Hammond B3. He just played at my wedding
Nice.
over the weekend. It was very, very awesome. But we'll typically try to take that out most times, and then we'll kind of add or subtract as needed. Sometimes it'll just be 4, sometimes it'll be 5 plus maybe some backup singers. Sometimes it'll be no backup singers, but we'll
Love
take,
the horns when they're added in there.
Horns on, yeah. But at Musikfest, and then like we'll talk about in a little bit at the Turkey Jam show that we're putting on at Steel Stacks, we get to take the whole kit and caboodle, which is very, very fun to do. We don't get to do it often,
right?
Because the logistics of taking 9 people and paying 9 people, and
of course, but it is super awesome when you do it. So that's actually the reason why I had you set that up was because it's a great layout for the other.
I read your mind.
Promotion that we want to do here. You have coming up 4th annual. So proud of you guys for being able to keep pushing this through. It's such a fun thing. The Wednesday, basically Thanksgiving Eve, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, every year you do the Turkey Jam. So tell us a little bit more about this event.
Yeah, thank you again. This is the 4th annual Lehigh Valley Turkey Jam. This is our 4th year doing it. We are, first of all the thanks go to Ann Sturm and Shayna Super and everybody at Arts Quest for taking a chance and allowing us to do it. A few years ago, we kind of came to them with this idea that was really born out of some people that have played in the group Merchants with us, or that we know have kind of played in other projects or been involved in other like Thanksgiving Eve shows that became like an annual tradition that like everybody would look forward to that year. And it was kind of could serve as like a homecoming for the beginning of the holiday season, and also just kind of a celebration of music and culture and all that stuff. And we were thinking like, what better place to do that in the Lehigh Valley than Steel Stacks, in the Arts Quest Center.
Yep.
Upstairs in the Musikfest Cafe, which is, the kind of citadel, so to speak, of of music and arts and culture in the Lehigh Valley, or at least it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So we were like, you could go see, a party band, a cover band that would be super fun on Thanksgiving Eve, and that'd be a great time. But you could also, if you're going to go out anyway, go out and see local bands that are original bands playing original music. And also we try to have some local artists there exhibiting work.
Yeah, it's great.
The last year, and I think again this year, we're gonna have the Bethlehem shop, which is like custom t-shirts and clothing that's all kind of like Lehigh Valley Bethlehem themed.
And going out the night before Thanksgiving is such a fun thing to do. Like,
it's an awesome night.
You could be in from out of town. You could be just simply free because nothing much to do the next morning until lunchtime.
Yeah,
it's just such a fun night to go out. It's a great idea by you all to bring that together. And you and Trouble City All Stars are kind of like that Wonder Twin powers. Like, it's
hopefully. Yeah, it's a great night. We weren't able to do with Trouble City last year.
Right.
Some of the members were going through some health issues, but that's kind of our theme, so to speak, this year is the return of Trouble City. Their drummer Todd is happy and healthy once again.
Yeah, good,
and so they'll be on board.
Good news.
Ruby Deer is on board for the first time ever this year.
Nice.
Jenny Founds sings back up with us in the Groove Merchants, and she's amazing.
Yes, she is.
So we're happy to have her band there to open the show. Rich Jeffries and Sarah Harrington are going to kind of do our little cocktail hour during like the dinner service. Because that's the other fun thing about the show too, is it's like, it's an all night thing. You can come for dinner, in, from the Arts Quest restaurant, and they'll serve you dinner. And Rich and Sour are going to play this year. You can check out the artwork. You can come just to see the music. That will start kind of like at 7:30. This year it's going to be emceed by Casey McGinty, who is of the Bob Stock Stage crew, if you're familiar with them.
Yep.
From like the Coopersburg area. But she's super, super talented. And she plays fiddle in that Fig for a Kiss.
Yeah.
So she's going to be our host and MC this year.
Love it.
And we're going to kind of do the Super Jam thing again and kind of celebrate us all being together. And it's just been super fun. We're going to do a raffle again this year. The last few years we tried to do like a live painting. We're going to switch it up a little bit this year. And instead our good friend from Kutztown from our college days, his name's CJ Moyer. He just opened a wildly successful new restaurant in Hellertown called La Maya.
Nice.
I don't know if you've heard of it.
I have.
But yeah. So they are packed every night. It's upscale Mexican, something I think the Lehigh Valley, especially in Hellertown, that area, desperately needs. And he's doing so great. And he was gracious enough. He's going to donate like a gift certificate for dinner and a bottle of their own house tequila. They're like La Maya tequila.
Wow.
That we'll raffle off. And then like the proceeds from the raffle, we usually donate to the Second Harvest Food Bank of the Lehigh Valley.
Awesome.
So it's a fun night, man. We hope every year to get it a little bit more packed every year. So hopefully we'll put a few more bodies in there this year. But it's just a fun night, like you said. Everybody kind of has the day off tomorrow. You can come and hang out and enjoy live music for the night. And if you're a night owl like myself, it ends fairly early. I'm checking the comments out now. Drew in the blue in the chat, shouting out Pete. But it's a fun night, and it's we're even going to try to make the show a little bit tighter this year, and hopefully it'll be done by like 10 o'clock or so. So then if you want to run to the Fun House or Rippers or wherever else, and catch another live band or hang out for Thanksgiving Eve, so you can get enough liquid courage to face all your relatives during a election cycle Thanksgiving. This will be
brutal.
This will be the year to do it. Yes.
No, thank you. But so you can go to steelstacks.org website, or you can even just search. This is how I got there. I just searched Turkey Jam Bethlehem, and it came
awesome.
up. It came up anyway as like the top.
You can find
hit.
it. We have the link on all our socials too. At the Groove Merchants Band on Instagram is where we're the most active. But yeah, tickets are on sale now. You can get seated tickets upstairs. You can get seated tickets downstairs. You can get standing room only tickets. Thank you so much for letting me shout it out. It's hopefully it'll be an awesome night, and we're gonna have some fun.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank you for putting that all together. 4 straight years. I know it's not the easiest thing in the world. So kudos to you all for keeping it going, and I hope it lasts forever. It's such a fun Lehigh Valley tradition that's starting up. But
we hope so, man. That's what we're trying to. Our goal is to be like, for people to talk about, like, oh, are you going to Turkey Jam this year? And I think it's finally, after, like you said, we've done the 2 years in a row opening night at Musikfest, and this will be our fourth Turkey Jam, and I think we have the kind of the right formula now, and I think it'll really hopefully start to take off, and it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our guest in here.
Let's get to some music. We always like to bring in a little bit of track. We are so honored to have Dustin Douglas of the Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentlemen on the show. Band out of Northeast Pennsylvania, Wilkes-Barre area. And my favorite style of music is what this sounds like. This is just that filthy, dirty, bluesy garage rock is what I really love, and Dustin is amazing at it. This was the song that grabbed my ears a couple years ago, and I think everybody's going to love it. Check out the song Broken by Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentlemen.
You
Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman's dynamic, heavy, swagger-injected, sexy and dirty, blues-influenced rock and roll brings vintage sound and vibe to modern ears. Fronted by the transcendent lead guitarist, singer-songwriter Dustin Douglas, the Electric Gentleman rounded out by drummer Tommy Smalltham and bassist Matt the Dane Gabriel, command the stage with virtuosic musicianship and classic rock spirit mixed with punk rock attitude that leaves even the most discerning music fans falling in love with their style at the end of any live show. At the end, probably first 2 songs in, but let's bring this up a little bit more and then bring Dustin on the show. Leave this absolute shredding guitar solo on while we bring you on the show. Welcome to the show, Dustin Douglas.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
What's up, Ty? What's up, Phil?
We are so happy to have you on. And tell us a little bit. Yeah, we are so thrilled to chat into all your whole backstory and the music and stuff. Tell us more about this song and this video. First and foremost, what a sweet space, if I understand it right.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
This is, it was like an abandoned theater called the Iram Temple.
Yeah. So it's in downtown Wilkes-Barre. It's been abandoned for quite some time. I know they're trying to renovate it. I believe, trying to find the funds. I know there's a whole committee behind that. But the director that we work with, Jonathan, we just had this great idea to go and take it over. What you're not seeing is that we did it. It was so cold.
I was wondering. It kind of looks like it.
We still talk about it for some reason, anytime we film a video, we do it in like the middle of the damn winter. But we just got done filming a video a couple weeks ago for a new single, and it was cold. It was like one of the weird days that it was cold. I was like, what are we doing again with this? Like, let's film in the summer.
Yeah. Or in the Caribbean or something.
Or in the right. I'm all about that. Before we go any further, let me congratulate Ty. Also, you got married this weekend.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, man.
And then we're near your anniversary too, aren't we, Dustin?
It was just October 30th was my wedding anniversary.
Oh, word.
3 years.
My now wife, it's just weird to say, our dating anniversary was October 30th. And so we tried, our wedding was Saturday on the 2nd because we were trying to get the weekend close to
no
it.
doubt.
So yes, congratulations to you as well.
Yeah,
but thank you.
Man.
You didn't have to do that.
Welcome to the club, man.
Is there an escape hatch anywhere I should know about?
No, man. If you do, you'll be just fine.
Of course. Thank you.
That is some great stuff too.
But yeah, that was a sick video, man. They just let you. Did you have to like hit anybody up to get into that theater? Like,
yeah. I mean, we had to speak to the powers that be.
Gotcha.
Let it. Fortunately, they were kind enough. I believe we gave some money to the cause of the revitalization.
Nice
revitalization of it.
Cool.
Yeah, it was at the end of it. It was like, do I have frostbite in my feet? Kind of deal.
Oh, really?
But with that being said, it's every time I see it. I mean, I obviously haven't seen it in a while, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, it sounded great, man.
Super proud of it. It was a great team, and yeah, man.
And how about the track? Like, what's some of the inspiration behind that? It's obviously this filthy lick and this awesome like. The whole, like you talk about, like swagger-injected is perfect. Like the outfit's there, the coolness is there, the guitar riff is there. Like it's just such an awesome rock and roll on display.
Is in that video, the track that we're hearing, like that were you guys playing that live and then that's what you use, or you had a version?
Yeah,
no, and you just kind of played along to it.
When you do those bigger budget type, you're basically miming or lip singing or and then the track gets added after in post. So that's the track you hear on there is the track that's on the record.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. We
Yeah.
did I was just curious because during COVID, not too dissimilar. We filmed a series of videos in a barn at our friend's farm in Quakertown.
Awesome.
But we cut them all live, and then we kind of released it as a live EP.
Yeah, man, that's
You know
great
what I
to
mean?
do too. Totally.
Yeah, but it sounds great and looks great.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
That was super cool. So yeah, then that song, obviously singing about being broken. Where's that stemming from in your personal story?
Yeah, man, it was just like kind of an old school, just like a bluesy lyric. Yeah, at the time, I think it was just, I tried to write as autobiographical or, semi-autobiographical if someone around me is going through something. I try to keep it pretty true.
Yeah. Pull from the genuine.
Yeah, I mean,
article.
if not, real music fans can sniff that fakeness out.
That's so true. Yeah, that's so true.
But yeah, I'm really proud of that track, man. And I mean, that's been in our set since it's been released, and I don't see it not being in our set. So.
Oh, right. I don't see why you would.
Yeah.
Never pull that one out. So what we always like to do on this show, roll it all the way back where things really originate from you. So like even at a very young age, you're surrounded by instruments in your home. So like from a very, very child age, you're already kind of immersed in music and feeling the pull to it, right?
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, my parents, no one in my immediate family plays an instrument per se, but I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. Like for some reason, I loved going in my grandparents' attics. I was like an attic dweller, and I'm still like, I still love going to like, Goodwills, and I love the hunt. But for some reason, there was guitars in both my grandparents' attics.
Interesting.
I was just like, what's this?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's wild to think. And I just recently thought of that. I was like, why were these guitars in the attic? First of all, terrible people guitars.
Yeah, like somebody must have been using a guitar at some point.
Yeah, and like none of my grandparents played guitar or anything. I mean,
wow.
One of my uncles played, so maybe it was like a reason for that one. But the other one,
they just picked it up at a yard sale because it was a good deal.
There was no reason for there to be a guitar.
$5. I'll take
it. So there were always, and my parents and grandparents. I mean, I remember having a microphone that had like this foot pedal that like had lights that like shot up as a kid. And so it was always around. And instead of playing with trucks or cars or I tried the sports thing. I wasn't good at that. So I just really, really took to my grandmother was a huge Elvis fan, and so she had like the Elvis VHSs and.
Hell yeah.
My parents always had music on in the house, whether it was MTV or VH1 or, Bad Company records. And so it was just, I don't know, man.
I could hear that now. I could hear Bad Company music.
I don't think I had a chance.
No.
We seldom do.
It'd been a lot cooler if they had like law books laying around or something.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't think it would have drawn to you like that you were destined to be a musician.
I joke with my dad about that. My dad is a musician, and he kind of got me into it. And every now and then, when we're loading out gear, I'll be like, "We couldn't have been like doctors or
or a harmonica player,
or pantomime,
or
not have carried the the ones that carried the PA around."
Totally, dude. Totally. But with that being said, and I mean, I speak probably for both of us, where I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Of course.
It's to be able to make a living playing music and playing guitar and doing sessions and playing live. And it's
Is there a certain moment that you can remember? Either a certain song, a certain teacher, a certain moment that you were just absolutely hooked from that point going forward? Like, it's obviously there, but was there some moment where you're like, oh, hell yeah?
It's a good question.
Man, I don't know. I mean, I played gigs really early.
That's what I was going to be my next question. You do your first paid gig at like 13, right?
Yeah, and like in like grade school. I remember like 7th, 8th grade. Like I was playing like pool parties. I remember somebody jumped in the pool we would put, and they got it. I had like a multi effects pedal that was like my life, like a Boss, whatever. And it got like water on it, and it was like the end of the world. It was the end of the world for me.
Sure.
We would throw all our gear. Our PA at the time was like Radio Shack, old school box speakers that people would set up for their vinyls.
Sure.
And we would throw somehow we would fit the whole band and all this stuff in my dad's Oldsmobile. And he would drive us there because we couldn't drive. But I mean, I was just, and then we would play like roller skating rinks, and we would play like, what's funny is like, we would play like Blink-182 tunes and like Lit, My Own Worst Enemy. And like, like people are still playing Lit, My Own Worst Enemy.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like, it's wild. Those are my earliest, you know, and then playing on stage for the first time when I was probably 13 or something. The guy I was studying guitar with had me come and sit in with the band, and I just remember being extremely nervous. But something about it became quite addicting, I guess. I mean, I haven't stopped.
Yeah. So then, where does Lemon Jelly form? What age are you when that
was like those times. So that was
that's
like,
that stuff. Wow.
That was like 14, 15, and then that went on for a few years. I mean, we put out some pretty cool records, and
totally. Yeah, people need to check this part out too. There's cool stuff out there. Because you also end up performing with some big time names.
Yeah. Lemon Jelly kind of was the predecessor. Like those last couple records was kind of the beginning of what I kind of am doing now. You know, it was just kind of that southern type blues rocky, just rock. But and I mean I'm in the process of getting all that stuff up. You know, honestly, when that band was around, like streaming wasn't even a thing. It's crazy to think of that, but it was still the MySpace era, and so I'm working to get all the Lemon Jelly stuff, like the archives, up streaming, because I feel like some of it, some of it but some of it definitely does deserve the light of day. And,
throw together like a great best of or something.
Yeah,
like that.
and it's all part of my story, man. So it's like
right.
It's all cool. It's all
totally.
stepping stones
For sure.
And then you get the chance to join the Badleys.
Yeah, I did that for quite amount of years. Quite. After Lemon Jelly was kind of, I joined the Badleys for a good number of years.
Learned
Did
a lot. Did that start with Epiphones and Empty Rooms, or was that just part of your time there?
That was part of my time. That was the record that I was actually on.
Yeah.
So that was. Yeah, that was a great time. I mean, great friends. Still some of my best friends to this day.
Yeah, I have a picture from that time frame because I thought it was so cute to look at Baby Dustin. Look at him.
Yeah,
look at Baby
short
Dustin.
hair.
He's so cute.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that's the Badleys,
Yeah,
and they're a big deal. Like that had to feel really good for you to get into that.
It was great. I mean, we did some arena shows with Bob Seger. We did.
Wow.
So it was cool.
Yeah,
man.
I was going to ask about that. I saw that it was supporting Bob Seger by 2013.
Yeah, Edwin McCain. I mean, we did a lot of great shows. I mean, I learned a lot about songwriting. I learned a lot about. I mean, anytime you play a gig, it's a learning experience. You could treat it like another gig, or you could treat it as I play a lot of solo acoustic gigs. I don't think I'd be without them. I don't think I'd be the singer I am. Ironically, I just listened to a podcast with Jelly Roll, and he said, and this really resonated with me because it's true. He's like, until you play a gig where you're forcing yourself on these people, and we've all been there. Like Ty,
that's very true.
I know you've been there, like where you're playing in the corner of a spot. There, it's like not everybody.
Like nobody wants this.
They're right. They're not there necessarily. So you kind of have to like.
Yeah.
I think Jelly Roll was talking about how like a lot of these like online sensations are kind of just going from their bedroom to 2,000 seaters or something
right.
and they've never performed, so it's like
they didn't earn it.
And they don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do. There's no stage presence. There's like, so until you are able to win over a room who's eating chicken wings that had no intention or
Right.
knew you were there, gonna be there.
It's
So,
a weird thing too, man, because I think you're 100% right. But I think it's also interesting because music is, and the way we consume music and watch music be performed is also always changing too, especially now. So I think
oh God, yeah.
you're 100% right. They go from like, on TikTok or SoundCloud to like a theater, and it's
Right.
like they're just doing what they did in front of their computer screen to a
Right.
theater. And I
Right.
think to people like us who have come up and grinded, you're like, this is the opposite of how it's supposed to be. But I think there's also something to be said about like the audiences at those theaters. They're also now, especially as into the younger generation, like I'm so
Most
old to
definitely.
say the younger generation, but they could, that's the way they consume music now too. So it doesn't seem as foreign to them, is what I'm saying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Absolutely, man.
Like to go and watch stuff.
Absolutely.
So I think to be a great performer now, you have to kind of find the right balance of like, how can I appeal to like the older crowd who's like expects me to like be able to grind and have that stage presence, but how can I also be relatable to the current trends? And your fans, your fans will give you those answers too if you listen to what your audience is telling you and you look at the
Sure.
people showing up for you. They'll kind of, I've found, at least they'll kind of give you that answer of like, okay, this is what works and this is what we need to do. And I don't know if
Oh,
you
yeah.
do the same thing too, Justin, but I'm always like questioning, like, should we be making more reels on Instagram? Should we be putting more
Oh
stuff
yeah,
out? Should we be doing, you know what I mean? And you could do that all day long. And then, you'll want, on one hand, you'll be like, yes, we absolutely should, because that's what's happening. And then you'll look at like the people that we, look up to. Like, I'll look at like, one of our biggest influences, like the Derek Trucks band. And it's just
Mhm.
like, they're just like, they're like, this is purely just the music speaking for
Yeah.
itself.
Could you imagine Derek like doing like Instagram reels? Like
I actually follow the band on Instagram, and every now and then it's clearly like the person they pay to run
That's
their
what I was gonna say. It's,
account,
someone's doing it for
and they'll
them.
come up with like the little microphone, and they were like, "Who in the best band would make the worst football Sunday meal?" You know what I mean?
yeah,
And they're gonna ask
yeah.
him this dumb question and shit, and he's always a good sport. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
And,
dude.
but you can tell he's like, "What are we doing here?" You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you got to throw. It's like you said. The industry is changing so much. It's the Wild West, dude. So it's like,
Right?
and you could sit and, I mean, it's a weird. Unlike any other profession, you kind of know when your work is done. So with this, it's like you could spend 25 hours a day doing something.
Right.
There's always something to be done, whether it's writing, recording, putting a set together,
Yeah.
and then doing reels. It's like, man, at some point you just got to be like, it is enough.
Yeah, F
because
that, I'm playing
because
my
if-
music.
if not, your psychiatrist is gonna give you
Right,
on speed
exactly,
dial,
yeah.
For
It's like,
sure. For sure. For sure.
yeah, dude.
My favorite thing is the small venue or bar or whatever. So like $10 ticket or $20 minimum, food and beverage, whatever. And I may know the band and I purposely sought it out, or I maybe was just seeking out live music and I was just like, I'm going in. And I love watching when, like you said, what Jelly Roll said was like, you have to force it on the people. Not even forcing it, just playing and drawing them in. And I love when those moments happen because I'm paying attention, many other people aren't, but then you just notice it happen where like 80% of the room goes, what the fuck? That's amazing. And like they stop talking and they pay attention to a song. My favorite thing in the world.
I played a gig, a solo acoustic gig a few weeks ago, up in Bethlehem at the Wooden Match, Phil.
Mhm.
You probably
Yeah, yeah.
And shouts out to the Wooden Match.
Yeah, great
Shouts out
spot.
to-
And that's
shouts out
exactly
to
the type
Andrew
of
and the
place
staff.
I'm talking about. Yes.
But I was set up in the corner and I played one set and it was like kind of dead. And I was like, that's all right, whatever. Like, solo acoustic, I didn't do those gigs for a long time because I was like, I could never get myself in the right headspace. and then I had to pay for a wedding, so I was like, I should do more of these. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I know it all too well, my brother.
But I was taking a break, and I was getting ready to go out and start my second set, and this big party came in of like probably 10 people, and they sat at a big table, like they put tables together right where I was already set up to play. And I go up there and I'm like, all right, well, here we go. This is gonna go, as my dad would say, there's only 2 things can happen, and one of them's bad.
Right.
And I go up and they're like, oh yeah, he's gonna play. Like, what kind of stuff do you do? And I'm like, same questions, Dustin. I'm sure you're like, they're gonna ask these same dumb questions. I gotta give them the same dumb answers I always do.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm just praying. I'm like, I hope they're not assholes. And like, what kind of stuff do you do? And I'm like, oh, it's. And then I hear the one guy go, do you know any Van Morrison? And I was like, all right, I got him now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've had it go, and I'm sure you've had it go the complete opposite, where they're like, can you play any Metallica? And I'm like, dog, I have an acoustic guitar here.
Right.
Right. Oh yeah, dude.
What are we
it's
doing?
nice. That's what makes you become a better performer, though. It's like to be able to read the room.
100%.
And then to say, like, once you play that song that does affect someone, then you have that lead. Then you take that, what lane to go into.
Exactly.
Then you play a couple more covers like that. You play, that's fun, man. That's experimental. Because you could leave those gigs and be like, I'll never play music again. This is terrible.
Oh yeah,
we've all done that. Yeah, we've all done that.
Sometimes they'll let you know that they don't.
Yeah, man.
But I love doing those. And like at that same gig, this one girl the whole night was like, play Wonderwall by Oasis. Play Wonderwall the whole night. And there's a lot of great songs. You can't learn every song. Not everybody loves every song. It's not one of the songs I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sure.
And she was like, please play one. You know what I mean? So, but I also am thinking of like, what's that balance? Because like the guy who I kind of co-run the Groove Merchants with, if it was up to him, he'd be like Miles Davis with his back turned to the audience. You know what I mean? And like, this is just for the music. And if it was all up to me, it'd probably be the polar opposite. Like, what do you guys want to hear? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to strike a nice balance. So I'm always thinking, so long story short, like the second to last tune of the night, I forget what tune it was, but in my head, I'm thinking, I was like, well, these changes probably work. So when I was doing the chorus of that tune, I sang the chorus of Wonderwall.
Exactly.
And they're like,
that's all they did. Right. That made that.
And I love doing that because it's like, yeah, exactly. But I also love doing it because it's like, you're giving them that, but it's also like, this is a shitty way to say it that sounds pompous, but it's like, I'm giving it to you, but in a way that I want to package it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But you're the artist. Like, that's what I always try and point out is, well, these aren't people who paid a ticket, but they are. You're in the artist space.
Yeah,
tough shit. You got to deal with what the artist is going to give you. Like, it's not a jukebox. Like, you're not putting dollars in the machine. This is an artist in front of you, and enjoy it for what the mastery is.
Yeah. I always laugh when they're like, they'll ask for something, like, but whatever you want is cool. Whatever you want is cool. And I always laugh as if they're like, okay, and they don't mean this, but they say that. And you think, I always laugh because I'm like, oh, good, because I got here and was just hoping you were going to give me ideas of songs.
Right.
I came with nothing prepared.
See, I'm always the guy at the corner of the bar saying, play your originals. And then everyone else is throwing like, snowballs at me. But then the person starts playing it and everyone will be like, wait, this is really good. And it's like, exactly. Don't always ask for the covers. Sometimes ask for the original music, even if you don't know it.
That's why we love you, Phil.
Yes, of course.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here, Phil.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So, that was really fun, though. Thank you for that banter. Going back to the story, it's now 2014, and you release a solo song, "Black Skies and Starlight."
That was the name of the record. That was
the
like
record. Okay.
That was an EP. So that was a bit. That was like it's cool. I mean, I have this side of me, when I write, I don't always write, there's definitely lines of like, that's an Electric Gentleman type situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have more of this, I'm really, growing up, I was a really huge fan of like, Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls songwriting, like who was like influenced by like the Replacements kind of
right. Yeah.
And then the Badleys kind of thing influenced that too, because it's like, they call it power pop.
Mhm.
You know, I'm like,
Which is neither powerful nor popular.
you're right, and I love like Brian Adams. You know, like I love like
Yeah.
that where it's like great songs, but the guitars are so prominent. You know,
Sure.
so
Mhm.
that was kind of the antithesis for Black Skies and Starlight. So it's kind of like more of you know, and I'm really I listen to that sometimes. I throw it on after years of not listening to it, and I was like, oh man, I dig this. You
That's
know?
awesome. I do
Yeah.
love when the musician loves their own music. Like that is such a
Yeah,
great.
and
If you
and I
don't, then
mean,
what are you doing it for? So I love hearing that kind of stuff.
and you don't, you know, you don't hear it for years. You know, I mean,
Right.
sometimes I'll throw, you know, it's the stuff's not necessarily in the set all the time. You know, I'll whip it out
Mhm.
every once in a while, but
Yeah.
it's nice to go back and be like, hey, this didn't suck.
Yeah. Was there a need to break free and do your own music? Like, tell me about like that release. Like, were you kind of like
Yeah, I mean, that was like
wanting to
post.
break from the Badleys?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just happened organically. Like, you know, they weren't working as much, and you know, now they're back to all the original members, which is like super cool. You know, and I
Yeah,
was kind of like
definitely.
filling the void of. So it was that's just how the stars aligned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, you know, I kind of just listen to the universe when it's time to go. I know
Sure.
when it's time to go. I know when it's time to go in. You know, it's yeah. I don't. And well, now it's like you got to release something every 7 days or something. You know, it's like ridiculous.
Oh, right. And not
Uh,
albums. You want singles. It's all
yeah, it's
Mhm.
a crazy,
crazy,
crazy
man.
world.
It's
Don't
definitely
fall into that. Keep releasing full.
it's certainly
full-length
it's certainly quantity over quality at this point.
stuff. Which
For
sucks.
sure.
Um,
I'm hoping it's starting to shift back to like more album
Yeah,
centric.
man, it's
But who knows?
wild. And then like half of the record's out before the record comes out. So you listen to the record and you're like, well, I've heard all these songs.
I've already heard
Right.
this.
There was
Exactly.
5 singles before the
Right.
record was out.
Yeah.
So you know, and you know, we'll play the game with this new record, and you know, probably put out 2 or 3. I don't think I won't do more than 3. I won't put out
Mhm.
or 2.
And you can always
2.
release them as singles after the album. So like 1 or 2 album comes out, you could still release a 3rd or a 4th.
Yeah,
after.
man. I just it's definitely that's definitely something that's changed with the new climate
Yeah.
of the industry.
One thing one musician did that was cool was they released like a 5-song EP and like them as singles, then the EP, then another 5-song EP, but then released them as both like sides of one vinyl. So it was like
Interesting.
it was a neat way to play with 5 tracks on the one side, 5 tracks on the other side, artwork on both sides. Like it was kind of a neat merchandising thing
That's
because you
cool.
could still release a full album almost broken into 2 halves, and just that allows you to play the game but still have a sequenced album that has kind of like 2 chapters to it.
It's wild because like certain publications won't cover an EP. You know what I mean? So it's
Sure.
like, what is going on? It's
Right.
like somebody figure this out. Let me know. Do you
Yeah.
want a record or do you know? Yeah, I mean, we like to keep it. Like my manager says here, we'll keep it. We keep it old school, man, as much as we could.
The next album you release is the self-titled Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman.
Yes.
And what's interesting is, if I got it right, this album is similar to what we were talking about earlier, where it was recorded in an abandoned church, not in a studio.
Yeah, a different about. There's a lot of.
You got a knack for finding all these
There's a lot of
abandoned places.
See, Ty, the irony is the 2 of them are across the street from each other.
Wow.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's become an abandoned block.
Yeah, this was a really well. Now it's all bought up by the college, so it's.
Oh, there you go.
So it goes.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell said it best, you know.
There you go. Right. Paved
but-
paradise.
Right.
So this was a very magical place, and I just happened to be in a place in I did a session earlier this week in Delaware Water Gap, and it was a building where people rent out spaces to kind of do art type stuff. There's a studio, and it reminded me of this church where we did this record. We actually did the self-titled record there, and we also did the Blues 1 EP in the same church.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That Blues
So-
1 EP is really cool. bunch of
Yeah,
covers. Yeah.
we're definitely going to be releasing a blues too, which I guess.
And maybe that's the thing where we're talking about. You release that on
Yeah.
vinyl, and you have it, Blues
Yeah,
1
the
and
blue-
Blues 2 on one.
Yeah, the blues 2 will definitely be an EP. I'm not trying to do a full length there, but yeah, this church was kind of cool. It was a very art space. There was like a dance studio in the basement. Then there was, rehearsal rooms, and it was just like one of those places where you could go there at any time of the day. I mean, we were there at 4 a.m. This was definitely when we were younger, like to party pretty hard.
Nice.
So, but yeah, man, it was just like, smoke a bunch of weed and figure out what the hell we were gonna do, and a record comes up, and it was cool, man. Yeah, sometimes the elevator worked, sometimes you had to lug your amps up the step. It was like whatever,
Wow.
man. It was
Hell
like,
yeah.
Did I also hear that it was such an inspiring place for you that you wrote 2 tracks for the album in the space, like
absolutely
in the moment?
Yeah,
That's
man. I
awesome.
would go. There was kind of basically the church part, which was kind of turned into a theater, because how it's set up, like
Sure.
I would go out there. My buddy James Yamris was the guy who engineered that and tracked it. He might have even mixed it. He would just be doing, tweaking stuff, and I would just go take an acoustic guitar and go sit out there. But yeah, it was a very inspirational. A lot of music, just not us, but a lot of great things came out of that spot for sure. A lot of great bands were formed and all this. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was almost like for a short couple years, it was like the hate Asbury of Wilkes-Barre.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I miss those days.
Hate Wilkes-Barre, if you will.
There you go. Touche.
Nicely done,
Sorry.
Todd.
I'm sorry. That was so bad. That's so bad.
Boo!
Yeah. Get out.
We can check it. For those of you tuned in live, feel free to boo Ty in the chat.
Yeah, let me know in the
Boo
comments
any
how horrible
thing.
that pun was.
Yeah, or if you have any questions or comments, please let us know along the way. So then 2018 is where Break It Down comes out.
Yes.
And you're starting to get really great accolades through this whole time frame, right?
Yeah, I mean, Break It, that like each, fortunately with us, I mean, it's been a nice steady progression where every record and every record cycle gets X amount bigger than the last one. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
huge progress is like, I need that. And that's all you could really hope for. But yeah, I mean, we had a first set of management then with the Break It Down record. That was the first record I think we did at 8 Days a Week Studio, which, that's kind of like our home base out in Northumberland, PA. That's where we're tracking our new stuff right now. Yeah, it was just, we started to catch. What's funny is that writing session, we wrote so much that we're still diving into stuff that we wrote for that.
That's awesome.
Like there's still unreleased stuff that, very, very possible that may show up on this new record that will be out next year. That will be from that. It's just like one of those things, like it was just a very fruitful period. Like I was just listening to demos today that were from that era. So, I mean, it's wild.
Mhm.
It's, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to kind of like keep things fresh, but like I listen to it, I'm like, why? You can only put out so many songs, but it's
Sure.
like, just because it's from 2018 doesn't mean it's like if it's a representation of what you are doing now.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
And even between now and then, you could just release that as, again, please the algorithms and release a single that's not going to be on an album.
Exactly, man. It doesn't.
If it's a good song, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was a very fruitful period for us as a band. Kind of think it kind of like defined us of what we are as a band too. It takes a couple records and it takes of who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we head into, actually as a transition into the 2023 release, Black Leather Blues, I wanted to bring in some music here. And also it's from Musikfest. So I thought this
wow.
would be kind of fun to kind of show a little bit more of what the live show looks like, especially baking in the hot August sun in Bethlehem.
Yes. Like Ty,
And
like
this
Ty
is
said, it wasn't raining. It was a
that's right.
magical.
It
Yeah,
was a good day. It was hot,
This
hot
year, that
day.
was few and far between.
Yes.
Yeah, God bless.
But this is a track off that album, and it's actually, if that other stuff is swagger-injected, this is a little bit more of the softer side. It's the song Change, but it is just gorgeous.
Philip, I do have a sensitive side.
Yeah, that's why I want to put it on display. I want
Don't get me-
everybody else to know
Let's
this
not
too.
get it twisted.
But here, take a look at this is on that beautiful Stadplatz stage that Ty and I were talking about earlier. So it's a gorgeous view. It's a gorgeous song called Change. And so check it out, Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman.
I can use a little change. I need a little change. I can use a little change. Same old town, same old regret, same old dreams, yeah, they come true. Same old show on the same old TV, same old you, same old you. We need a change.
Such a great track.
I love that gold top, man.
Thank you, man. That's like my most recent acquisition. I knew I always wanted one. You'll see like the gear. You gotta stop buying gear eventually, or at least slow down.
Never.
I saw the writing on the wall. You know, I just purchased some property, and I got one more in before I did that. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, man. But that view, man, is like ridiculous.
Isn't
Best,
it awesome?
Look, I mean, look at that. That's like wild,
It's
man.
insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's heavy, dude. That's
I was so glad that they, growing up going to Musikfest, they used to have a stage there back in the day, but it was like in a tent, like where most of the other ones are.
Yeah.
So the back wasn't open, and then they stopped it they
Right.
got rid of that stage for a few years because they started building like the steel stack stuff. And I'm so glad when they announced like, oh, we're gonna put a stage back there again, and now it's like kind of open air behind it because that view is so insane.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah.
It's a
I don't know if you've noticed the background image that we use. We change it up every 4 months, so 3 times a year. I always grab a shot that we captured during the concerts that we've seen.
Yeah.
And then kind of mess with the coloring scheme and the blurriness and stuff. But it's always from stuff that we have. It's you. So if you watch as we transition.
I was going to say, I was like, oh, it's the same
see it?
background.
Hey, all right. Uh-huh.
So it's actually this picture.
Making some terrible, ugly guitar face, dude. Oh,
I love it.
Stank face.
Man,
Ty
man.
is big on stank face.
Let me tell you where they were big on stank face is at my wedding, because at my wife's bachelorette party, they printed out like, I didn't know they were doing this. They printed out, you'll love this, Dustin. They went in to like our Instagram and like blew up pictures of me, like, and then they made like signs with them.
Oh, that's
and they took them to the I was like, all right, at the bachelorette party, that's fair. And then I turn around at the wedding on Saturday, and like my mom has one on the
I
dance
tell you
floor,
what,
and like my wife,
you
and
could
I was like, oh, good, they're back.
sell those
thankfully.
at Turkey
Dude,
Gym.
that's amazing.
Those would sell.
You know what, Phil? That's actually not a bad.
I can tell
man.
you what.
Some good merch, dude.
That is a totally great merch thing. I've often told you, Ty, that there should be the stank faces of the Lehigh Valley, because Slingshot Dakota makes amazing stank faces. We can get Dustin in on this now too, and turn it into like a coffee table book, and like just
your next favorite stank face.
Your next favorite stank face. We can do a whole podcast about it. But I wanted to bring this picture back up. So this is the picture we turned into the background image for our September to December kind of season.
Wonderful.
But I wanted you to use this to maybe introduce the other members of the band, Tommy and Matt.
Yeah, Tommy Smallcomb and Matt Gabriel. I mean, it's a rhythm section that is certainly, I mean, it's three of us, man. So we just try to make it sound as big as possible. And without those two dudes, I mean, they're driving, they're driving.
Totally.
They're driving the car. I'm just like stank facing on top of it.
That's right. You're the hood ornament.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, they're when we get on stage, it's just something really special. I play with a lot of great musicians in other projects and other situations, and that's also awesome. But there's just something that happens.
Totally.
When us three.
Yeah, you guys have it's tight.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
just something special.
I was gonna say it's for a trio. It still has that big, sound, that full sound, which I know is hard to do. So,
yeah, and it's kind of just become, and even if we add, we're not against adding. I mean, we'd love to find a B3, Whirly Rhodes kind of guy.
Right.
B3's where it's at, dog.
Yeah, it's tough to find. I mean,
Right. Well, they're the words out there. You never know the giant reach of this show.
Listen,
I can find one for you if you want one.
All right, Todd. We're going to talk about that. And listen,
This is
Todd,
amazing.
We're definitely going to do a show together after this is all said and done.
Please. We would love
If
that.
anything comes out of this podcast, let's.
It's that we're gonna do.
Dude, this is the
a lot of
magic
fun.
that Phil manifests.
That was his plan.
I do
that
it
was
all
his
the
plan.
time. We
That was
call
his
it
plan.
wish casting. We wish cast shit all the time on this show.
Ty, we'll be
Yeah.
in touch. We'll make it happen, man.
Absolutely, yeah, same.
Awesome.
Yes, love it.
Phil, thank you again.
I love it. So Musikfest. You've played a couple years now, and any cool stories? I mean, everyone who listens to the show knows that it's like my favorite 10 days of the year.
Yeah,
but,
man.
how is it for you? It always looks like you're crushing life when you're up there.
Yeah, we love it. We love coming to Bethlehem. I mean, we've been fortunate. We've played I've played it a few, just how it works. It's like there was like 1 or 2 years where we didn't do it in between. There's probably a zillion bands that try to get into that thing. So it's like, but Shayna's, we seem to be back in the rotation, which is great. And we have a nice, we got love from the Lehigh Valley, which is cool. It's always, the fans have always been, there's some great fans that love what we do in the Lehigh Valley. So they always come out. But man, we played we played inside. We did the Musikfest Cafe the 1 year. Mm-hmm. We did a really weird one where we did like this late ass set. It was crazy. We might have started at 11 p.m.
I think I remember that one. It's one of my favorite sets, the 11 p.m. on the small little tiny stage out.
On the town square stage.
Yes, on the town square.
Yeah, and then like Disturbed had just let out.
Well, that's the thing. It's like Musikfest actually admitted to me that it's a parking lot trap. Like they want people to be caught in with a little bit more music so it smooths people.
Oh yeah, man.
So from a programming standpoint, it's brilliant. But I'm sure for a musician, like you said, it's like, I'm going on at 11 p.m. But to give you a heads up, and any other musician that gets that slot, people might, like me, love that set.
Yeah, man. I mean, I take them all in stride. I mean, I've done some solo ones over in forgive me, I did the plots.
Yeah, fill in the blank plots. I got
remembering the plots. I mean, it's not going to happen.
No,
but
it's totally fine.
It's all right.
We love it. We can't wait to come back and do it again. I mean, you guys know, you guys are from that hood, so it's like, it's insane. And try to explain it to someone. It's like, they just have
no.
Yeah, I agree. I've said the same thing. Like, just people who aren't from there or haven't been there and have asked me, and they're like, or I'll be like, oh, you should come see us. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll pop down for the, and I'm like, no. You don't pop down.
You're gonna make a day and a half of this.
It's an event. It really is a weird, like, magical time for like 10 days. That whole area, just like places that would never have live music any other time throughout the whole calendar year, they have live music going, and it's awesome. Except when you lived, because I lived in Bethlehem for a few years, and when you got to drive anywhere,
right?
Sure.
During those 10 days, that's the part that sucks. But otherwise, it's awesome, man. I'm glad you guys have been able to.
Yeah, and what's a
stay in
bummer
that
is like
rotation.
I was supposed to be there again at the Wooden Match stage this year, but it got rained out with my buddy Nike Van Wyck. Who's
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know Nike.
So we were gonna do the Nike and Friends show, and it got rained out. So I was kind of bummed on that because I know the Wooden Match started doing like that stage, and
Yeah, that stage gets bigger
so
every year.
but I know
It was
like
a zoo this year, man. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Nike being like a Bethlehem native, like there would be Musikfest years where he's like, "Yo, I just played like for the 13th time." I'm like,
Right.
like,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, because he performs with like Craig Thatcher, who plays like
Yeah.
27 times.
He does the DJ stuff.
Right.
he does the DJ stuff. Yeah,
He's awesome. I love it.
It's crazy.
he's-
we've
he's-
had ones where we've done like 2 in a night at like a spot for the fest, and then like go to a bar, play there.
Yeah, like the
And then
Funhouse.
Do
or
the
something,
same do the same thing
Hell
again the
yeah,
next night. It's
man.
crazy. But I'll say one thing about the Lehigh Valley, man, growing up there, like you were talking about the fans, is one thing I'll say is if they find, that group and that audience there, if they find something and someone that they like, they show up for them.
100%.
Year after year. They'll let you know if you start falling off, but they will show up. I've known people that are like, "Oh yeah, I saw this band at Musikfest, and now I go back and I see them every year."
Yeah, man.
You know
it's
what I
only
mean?
good. It's only been great vibes, man. And we
Yeah.
just like we can't wait to just man. We always love coming to Lehigh Valley, and we're
That's
not
so
going to
cool.
We're not going to stop. So
Good.
yeah.
Let's talk about this. It is the most recent record you've released, 2023, Black Leather Blues. That song Change is off of it. The first song we played, Broken, is off of it. We're going to play another one after the credits from that. And then you even had said you might be able to perform one tonight. It's just loaded with that many hits. But talk to us about that record just a little bit as far as like how it all came together, because it's just chock full of great music.
Yeah, I mean that was a big one for us. I just knew that there was some we really took some time, and because there was like kind of a larger gap in between the self-titled and that one. So we took some time and really honed in on some songs, and we had some heavy hitters mix it and master it. And
was it someone that worked with the Badleys too? Is that who was the producer?
So our the studio that we work in 8 days a week in Northumberland is owned by Paul Smith, who is the bass player of the Badleys.
That's
so
what
he
it was.
engineered he engineered it, and then Brian Monsars mixed it, and Brian's worked with he's a Canadian cat, and he actually, it was one of those things where he actually because we released Broken before that,
Sure.
record. It was kind of like in between.
Yeah.
Kind of as a just to keep people satisfied before the record,
Right.
which we're doing again. We got another one coming out. So, Ryan Monsars reached out, and I mean he's worked with Alice Cooper. He's got a beautiful long, and he was like, dude, it was like one of those things where you get all these bullshit spam messages where you're like, hey. And at first, I mean, it very easily could have just gotten deleted. Where I'm like, bullshit, lie.
Right.
We get so many of them too.
Oh,
Yes.
dude. But I don't know, something about it was just like, oh, I think this dude's being genuine. And then I looked up his stuff, and he just wanted to work with us because he appreciated what we did.
That's so cool.
His mixes were really special. I can't wait to work with him again. We'll definitely do that down the road. And then a guy named Brian Lucy mastered it, and he does everything from the Black Keys to Marilyn Manson to Elvis Costello to, so it was like, let's do this right. And I think the proof is in the pudding, except now it's like, well, shit, now we gotta, this time around, it's like, well, I guess we have to top that, or,
Right.
it's so, start playing that game. But I try not to get too much in my head about that. It's like, again, just going back to being true to yourself and cranking up the Marshalls and seeing what comes out, man. That's it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you had said you might be able to perform something acoustic for us tonight.
Yeah, I think you had a request, right?
I did. My favorite song off of the album, and especially played live, is "Good Love."
Yeah.
So I'll take Ty and I off the screen. We'll give you center stage. And if there's any other like stories you want to share or anything, or just let her rip, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, awesome. All right. A song called "Good Love." Got myself a situation, I'm addicted to you. Yes, I'm on a mission, yeah, mission to be with you. You can stop me, you can try, but you won't hold me back. No, you won't. Are you loving me? You loving me, give me a heart attack. Yes, you. Driving me crazy, I'm blowing my mind every time. Oh, I love the way that you look at me. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. Yes, I do. Love is stronger than my whiskey, sweeter than my wine. Good loving, baby, just gets better with time. Way it makes me feel, things it makes me do. I just can't get enough of that good loving from you. Driving me crazy, blowing my mind every time. Oh, I love the way you set me free. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. Yeah. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. I got that good love, give me your good love. I got that good love. Yes, I Good love.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Love
Thank you
it.
very much.
Love it. It's so good. I love that the chorusy part where there's like that 3-chord progression moving upwards.
Yeah.
That's the hook that got me. I'm like, what the? That is awesome.
Awesome. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, and I love too, like the acoustic versions. Like one of the fun parts about asking people to perform when they're kind enough and gracious enough to say yes is like you get just such a unique version of a song because it's not what's on the recording. It's not what you heard live. It's a whole other
Right. Oh yeah.
kind of acoustic in the moment.
I had a little acoustic performance tonight, and I knew that you had requested that, so I played it and practiced it.
Nice. had a warm up
yeah.
at the gig. That's cool. That is very cool. So all of the people who were listening to you tonight, you're welcome. Otherwise, maybe that wouldn't have been on the set.
There you go. I aim to please.
Cool. So before we wrap things up with some promotions, I always like to share a couple of fun tidbits of information that I found along the research way. Multiple awards. So Steamtown Music Awards, you've won Blues Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, Guitarist of the Year, Drummer of the Year, Video of the Year, Independent Blues Music Awards, Blues Rock Song of the Year for Out of My Mind, Central PA Music Hall of Fame. You were nominated for Blues Rock Band of the Year in 21 and 22. Electric City MC Awards, tons of other great stuff. So like you're well decorated.
Yeah, it's listen, it's an honor to win any of that stuff. I mean, it's just I don't know how to kind of put music in a competition is I don't know.
No, I totally get where you're coming from with that.
Yeah,
but I'm just sharing the trivia. It's
totally,
there,
man.
You've won the awards.
It's great. It's cool bio pieces, and I'm just grateful that anybody is paying attention.
Yeah. Another one is you have a movie credit because in the movie All in Time, the Badleys played, I guess, the background soundtrack to that.
Yeah, well, we did. Yeah, there's a lot. So I wasn't even in the movie as a part of the Badleys. I was in the movie. So the movie was based upon the Badleys loosely. We recorded some of the live Badleys songs that were used in the soundtrack. We did that down at the Chameleon Club.
Wow, okay.
Lancaster. But then I play the guitar player in a band in the movie.
Right.
Myself and my good friend Aaron Brook, who is the bass player of Breaking Benjamin currently, and we another friend of ours, a drummer. Like so, yeah, that was interesting. We were fueled by energy drinks.
I always love when I'm doing the search at Fueled by Energy.
Yeah, that's fun.
When I do the search in like IMDb, like the movie site comes up, I'm like, oh hell yeah, here we go. It's always like a fun little tidbit. The first song you ever learned on the guitar was Yankee Doodle.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
That's something I came across.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you read it online, it's got to be true.
It has to be true. I found it on the interweb. And and the last one I had was you used to have a list of riffs that you knew for when you would go to the guitar store as a kid.
Very true. Yeah, my mom would whip this list out of her purse, dude, and I'd be like, I remember, I think it's Kansas. There was
Carry On My Wayward Son.
Yeah, man, like that. Which that riff is still really badass, dude. Like,
I was gonna say, what was your favorite guitar store riff to play out of all the riffs on the list?
Maybe that one, dude. I mean, that felt.
Are you talking about the banana?
Yeah, exactly. That's still badass. I wish I wrote that.
Hell yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Everybody wishes they wrote that.
Phil, that's funny, man. I really didn't. Yeah, I love that. Yankee Doodle and the Kansas. Yeah, the list of stuff.
The riff list.
The riff list, man.
But let's promote some things here. We're gonna pull up your site, and then I know you have at least 2 shows still out there for people to catch. But here is DustinDouglasMusic.com. Lots of great stuff here. There's all your nominations for this year. Fun bio. Let's pull up the tour here. Mauch Chunk Opera House, which is a great space to see a show.
Oh yeah, it's a cool spot.
Yeah, we're
November
doing
22nd.
We're doing we don't do them. We do it about once a year. We do like a Stevie Ray Vaughan and a Jimi Hendrix kind of show.
Awesome.
So we're doing it there, and tickets are selling really well. We're looking forward. We've never done it there, I don't believe. So
Neat.
yeah, that'll be really cool. And then we're headed back to Bloomsburg in December. We're going to do a show at Trujillo Balloon Company.
Yeah.
And the schedule is nice, kind of slug gearing down for the end of the year so we could be in the studio.
And the other thing we always like to pull up is the merch store.
Merchandise. Yeah.
We got a Sling merch.
Yeah, we got some new winter stuff that's not up yet. That's going to be coming out.
Oh wow, this tiger shirt is dope.
It is dope, I have to say.
That is so cool.
Shout out to Tyler at Axelrad that does a lot of our Tyler at Axelrad and my main man Dave Fisk. They do a lot of my artwork. Dave came up with the Boltman logo.
Yeah, the Electric Gentleman.
Yeah, he graced us with that, and there's no turning back.
Oh yeah, it's a cool little logo.
I always say I'm just glad that that's out of the way. Don't got to worry about doing that anymore,
That's right. But we always mention this, and we always want to make sure people know this, is that, the streaming services, the digital downloads, those are not going to pay you all a lot of money, but the merch does. Usually anything you're going to buy here is probably equivalent to about 5,000 streams. So this is the best way to support an artist, is purchasing the merch directly from them. So there you are. Anything else we can promote here at the wrap, the close?
Yeah, just look out for the new single. Which it'll either be, so we're going to sneak it in either later this year or very early next year. We haven't really decided yet, but there'll be new video, new single, and then the new record will be out like early next year.
Yeah.
And, look out for a Groove Merchants and Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman show.
Yeah, yes.
Right.
Something
in the spring, maybe?
You're going to make it. Yeah, and Phil, you're going to open it up with some stand-up.
Nice.
Yes. Always.
But there also is going to be people who need to remember that after the credits, we're going to play Why Would You Say Such a Thing, which is like the lead track off of that Black Leather Blues album. Dustin Douglas, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, let me say thank you so much for the support of not only us, but just all of the original music, man. It means the world to us, dude. And
thank you, Phil.
It's why we do it.
Yeah, man. Anything you need from me, man, I'm just a call away, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dustin.
Thank you, Phil. Ty, great to hang with you, man.
You too, man. Nice meeting you. We'll be in touch for sure.
Yeah, congratulations again, man.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
Ty.
Phil.
We always do something here at the end where we just say, what did we learn? What did we learn today?
We learned I got to work on my guitar store riffs.
There you go. You need a list. You need a good sheet of paper.
I think I'll tell you what we did learn is the reach. I think at least the reach and the magic of Musikfest. Yes. Once again, that it holds on
stage
on out of towners, and that Stadplot stage is awesome. But it's cool. It's always fun, but also like very cerebral for me when I get to do these kind of things and talk to another musician.
Yeah, that was a fun banter. You two both talk about like the difficulty of pleasing.
I apologize if I was talking too much.
Not at all. Not at all. No, I was just
being
almost became the audience. I was like, I'm going to just sit back and enjoy this one. We had talked about it before we came on. That I was like, I bet you there will be moments that I just step back and let you two kind of nerd out.
Good. I hope it was all okay, but
it was.
It's just always a good learning experience, man. At least for me, especially talking to somebody who is able to make a living doing music full time. You know what I mean? Like we're all still kind of trying to do, and then just kind of listening to their stories, and because at least I know for myself, I'm always in a constant state of is this all gonna end horribly, and have I been wasting my life, or should I keep going? You know what I mean? So it's fun to just see and hear other perspectives, because there is no, and that's the thing I keep reminding myself, and I think other young musicians who are kind of grinding have to remind themselves, is that there is no one specific road. If there was, everybody would take it, and we wouldn't be having these podcasts. You know what I mean? It all comes in different ways, shapes, forms, sizes.
Yeah. And that's where the show was born out of, that the stories of those journeys are so compelling and so interesting to match that up with the music that either transcends it all or is sitting right in that same pocket.
And it's all unique to you, man. Like,
so fun.
Stevie Ray Vaughan dropped out of high school in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
But that was okay because he was Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Bill Withers was working at a steel factory when he was 38, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't write use me when you're in 9th grade. You got to write that shit when you're working in a factory.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, after some hard life experience.
It's all different. It's all different stops, man. But it was cool. Thank you so much again for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you. And one last time here. Wednesday, November 27th is the Turkey Jam.
Yes, please. We hope. Are you going to make it this year? I don't know if you've ever.
So the only trick is if you think about it, it's the 4th year. My kid is a senior in college, so that's the day they have been coming home for the holidays.
Oh yeah.
And so it's always been this thing. It was like I love my child that I haven't seen for 3 months. So that's the only thing that has kept me away.
Bring him to the show, man. Bring him to the show.
That has been something I've brought up every year. I'm like, do you want to go to the thing? And they're usually exhausted because it's like they just came through midterms or some paper or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the only thing that has prevented me. But it's always been on my mind.
But we understand if not.
This would be the last year that it would get prevented. From that, because he will graduate and it'll move on. But absent of that, I highly recommend this for everyone else. So the doors will open at 6. Like Ty said, you can get some food and beverage. Show starts at 7:30, and it is jam packed with some amazing performers. You mentioned a bunch, but every single one of the ones that, obviously the Groove Merchants, the Trouble City All Stars, Ruby Deer are all incredible performers.
Rich Jeffries, Sarah Harrington, and we're going to have, like I said, our big band with us, James McLaughlin from Westchester from the Sermon. He's going to be playing keys. Bree MC.
Yep.
Eva Bree, her and Jenny Founds are going to be singing backup for us. We're going to have Mike Talento, our sax player, there. The Trouble City will have their horns going as well.
Awesome.
So it's going to be an awesome time. We're going to have a kind of a super jam at the end, like we usually do, and we're going to try and save a lot more time for that, because we know that's kind of like the
people love that,
the marquee event of the evening. And it's gonna be a good time. We're looking forward to this one. We hope it's gonna be the best one yet. And so if you can make it, we appreciate the love. And tickets are on sale now, steelstacks.org, and we hope to see everybody there.
Awesome. Ty Valone, Groove Merchants, thank you so much for joining for hosting duties.
Phil, thank you again for having me anytime, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
All right, Phil, let's say goodbye to everybody.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Your Next Favorite Band. We'd like to sincerely thank guest co-host Ty Valone of the Groove Merchants, and also our primary guest of the evening, Dustin Douglas of Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentlemen. There'll be links in the show notes to pretty much everything we talked about tonight, from Turkey Jam to the Dustin Douglas music.com website, the socials, the Bandcamp, everything out there. Please check that all out. Like we said, great way to support the artists is to buy merch directly from them or tickets to their shows. A bunch of those opportunities coming up, and then plenty more into the new year. Apparently also a conjoined Groove Merchants, Dustin Douglas Electric Gentlemen show, which will be fantastic. As always, our hope is to bring you your next favorite band. If you tuned in tonight because you already knew Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked what you heard and what you saw, we ask that you might consider giving us a subscribe, like, and follow, so that we can bring you your next favorite band in a coming week. the coming weeks we're already booking into February, so we've got lots of great episodes already scheduled. Also, your next favorite band may already be out there at nextfaveband.com. All of our prior interviews are out there. There's over 130 of them. And if you need any help kind of navigating that or needing a recommendation, we always love that. So reach out. Let us know how we can maybe guide you to an episode or two to check out to see if you can find your next favorite band. Look forward to catching you at a live show soon. And don't forget to stick around for one more Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman track. Here is Why Would You Say Such a Thing?
She said